Jean Bobish here. You may have saw it on my Facebook page the other day that I made this pretty little card using a new stamp and some embossing and a new die that I got and all that. But when I make cards, I always forget to put the little handmade by on the back. So I have a little die that cuts out this nice little shape, and I had a little stamp made up that printed the words on. But do you know how tedious it can be to stamp all those little labels? So I thought there has to be a better way. Well, I did. I found out a way to print and cut out tons of these labels using my Silhouette Cameo. So let me get my camera hooked up and set in place, and I will show you how I did this. Now, some of you more experienced users might already know how to do this, but for me this was a true aha moment. So like I said, I'll be right back with you shortly. Okay, to start with, we have our blank desktop. And the first thing we want to do is we want to pick our labels. So I'm going to go to my library, and I had at one time downloaded this set of labels. Now this is the picture of what the file looks like. I just copied a picture of it so that I know how the finished pieces will look. Now here they are all separated, and for my labels I'm going to choose this center one. So the first thing I need to do is come down here and ungroup them. I'm going to click off, and I'm going to take this middle label and I'm going to put it up here on my workspace. Now I have my page set up to be 8.5 by 11 paper. I believe so. Let me just double check. Yes, 8.5 by 11, because that's what will fit in my printer. Alright, now I'm going to come over here, and I want this to be 1 by 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to, now bear with me because I'm trying to remember how I did this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find the scale window. And I'm going to change my width length setting, which would be my width, to 2 inches. And I'm going to hit apply. Now you will see that this comes out 1.999 and 1.2. Close enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, and I learned this the other day. If you circle that and hit zoom, it will keep that area in your picture. So for now, we're going to make that really big. The next thing I want to do is I want to put my writing in here. So I'm going to grab my grab my keyboard, and I'm going to hit my letter A over here, and I'm going to pick the font I want, and I already know that it's Amazonian. Right, Jean, let's find it here. Amazonian BT, I believe that is. Now I'm going to click on my page, and I'm going to type what I want on my label, which is going to be Handmade. And don't worry, it's going to be huge, but that's alright. By Jean. And I want it centered, so I'm going to come over here and click on center. And now I'm going to size it. So what I can do is, not that. Come down here to where the points are, and I'm going to change this to highlight it first. Change this to 9. Okay, now that's got kind of little. That's a little too little for my label. So I'm going to type in maybe 14. That looks a little bit better. Let's drag this over and see how it looks. It looks good, but I think I want it even larger. So I'm going to move this back over, select it, and this time I can use my little side thingies here to make it the size I want. So I'm going to put it on my label. That looks pretty good. Let's see if I can, whoops, I don't want to do that. So we don't want to put that back the way it was, and I want to make sure that I'm clicking on just the lettering. And now I can stretch that out, make it a little bigger. Okay, and I think height-wise it's good. Let's try this a little bit more. See what we can get. It doesn't do it a whole lot, so you're going to kind of have to play with it. There, now I'm thinking that looks really good, and that'll look great on the back of my cards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my lettering, not the whole thing, just the lettering, and I'm going to do my line color for that is going to be black. Okay? And my fill color for that is going to be black. So now I have my lettering, and it's going to print out nice and black. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my label, and I want to change my fill color right now to transparent. Okay, there's my label. Easy peasy. There's one more thing I want to do. I want to group them. So I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go to Group. So now they are one wonderful piece. The other thing I would like to do now is set it up so that I can print them out, print a whole page of them. So what I want to do is I want to hit my registration marks. And for my Cameo, I pick this one down here. No, it's this one with the square. If you have problems, you'll know that's why. Now this is what I learned today, and it has changed my life considerably. I used to hate doing print and cuts because when you look at the page, so much of it is your margins, and you don't get as many as you would want. Now let me show you. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to Replicate, and I'm going to go to Fill Page. Okay? So, okay, that looks pretty good. But I feel like I'm wasting a lot of paper. So what I want to do is come over here where you see these positions, and I'm going to put them all the way to the end. And now look up, we have more paper. So right now we have 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 18. That's pretty good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all but my original. Alright, and I'm going to bring it back up here, and I'm going to do my Object, Replicate. Where are we here? Replicate. I don't have it chosen. Okay. Object, Replicate, Fill Page. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 3 is 21. I'm actually getting 3 more labels per page, and to me that is awesome. Now, if you want to, I worry a little bit about the top row, because see, right here, it's into that mesh area. So all you have to do is just pull this down a little bit and get it out of that netting, so to speak, where you don't want any of your image to go. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, and this space them so nicely that I have enough room that I can move it up out of the way without affecting the row above me. All right. One more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ungroup this. I want my letters to stay dark, but I want my line of my box to be white. And you're going to say, white? Oh my goodness. That's okay, you'll see why in a minute. Now I'm going to regroup them. My box is still there, we just can't see it. And I'm going to group. Okay? And I'm going to do that for each one. Unfortunately, because I don't know how to line them up or to do them all at one time. Unless, let's see, let's try. Let's see what happens. Well, maybe we'll learn something new here. Let's go Object and Ungroup. Okay, it ungrouped all of them. So I can go here and change that to white. Oh, I did that wrong. Edit, undo. I want to choose, let's choose didn't ungroup that. Okay, choose my lettering and leave that black. And now we're just going to turn our line and turn that white. Okay, so we just want to, it's already ungrouped, white, and then we want to make sure we go back and group them. Now it's a little time consuming, and if somebody knows an easier way to do this, please let me know. But for today, I was happy to save paper. So let me finish doing these, and I'll load my cardstock in my printer, and I'll be right back. Okay, here is what my page will look like once it's ready to go to the printer. So the next thing you want to do is you want to come up here where you have a little printer and print. Another thing I learned today that was very exciting is you don't have to print one, then bring it to the Cameo and cut it, print another one. You can do multiples. So right now I'm going to do 3 pages, and it will print my registration marks and all that Handmade by Jeans on 3 separate sheets of paper. So it takes a few minutes to load, as you can see, and then you'll hear my printer start printing. Once that's done, I'll be back. Okay, now you can see I have my 3 sheets all cut out, and now I'm going to put them on my mat and stick it down good, like so. Okay, I'm going to feed it into my Cameo and go to my cut settings. Now, I want to make sure that I'm just cutting the edge, and you can see my cut lines here are all in red, and I chose my paper, which is my Recollections cardstock, and for those settings I have my blade at 3, my speed is 3, and my thickness is 26, and that's what works for me. So I'm going to send this off to Silhouette and let the Cameo cut it out. It's kind of noisy, so I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so here we have my first set all cut out, and look how beautiful they look. Now, if you'll notice, the reason I made my outlines white is because in case it doesn't cut out perfectly around my images, you see I have no bits and pieces of a line or a border. They're perfectly clean edges. If you can do your print and cut where it cuts out perfect, then that's fine, you can leave the borders. But for mine, I tried it several times and I didn't like the look. Now this is what they look like when they come out of the printer. And once I get these off my mat, then I'm ready to put these down and continue. One thing of utmost importance is once you sent it to the printer, do not touch your screen again except to press the cut button and do your cut settings. But your workspace, don't touch your labels, don't move them, don't try to fine tune them because they won't cut out right. But there you have it. Beautiful labels that are all ready to be attached to the back of your cards. Will let people know that you made this card especially for them. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time.